The Regency era was a time of dramatic change for women's fashion. The silhouette and shape significantly changed from full supported skirts with tightly corseted waists into a much softer, relaxed, natural shape. However, this only lasted about 8 years, from 1812 till 1820, when again fullness started to once again creep back into fashion. I believe that the Regency era is an extremely crucial part of fashion history and is possibly one of the most radical changes to date. As part of this project, I have been researching into why this change came about and what are the main features of this pivotal era in fashion history. In 1789, a revolution broke out in France due to civil unrest. This led to the end of the French monarchy and gave way to a new power to take charge. In 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself Emperor of France after a rebellion and began to establish order to the country. Although succeeding in making France prosperous again, Napoleon waged wars on many in Europe. The majority of the Regency period in England was dominated by war with France until England defeated them in 1815 at the Battle of Waterloo. Because of this, no one wanted to appear a member of the French aristocracy, and England started to break away from the influential France, who dominated the fashion world. During most of the 18th century and the rest of the 19th century, popular fashions were extremely different to those in the Regency. Women before then were generally dressed in tight corsets against the torso, then heavy full skirts were worn below. These skirts were often supported and inflated by items such as crinolines, bustles, hoop skirts and panniers to give them more volume and therefore less movement. However, during the Regency era, all this changed. Women's fashions were inspired by neoclassical tastes and followed classical ideals. The tightly laced corsets were discarded, and instead the natural figure was revealed. Short waist dresses and loosely draped skirts of fine muslin took over the heavy layer upon layer previously worn. Instead of corseted undergarments, loose shift garments were worn to show off the natural figure. These were often made from cotton and also prevented the soft muslin being too revealing. The Empire line was a symbol of the era, making women's clothes fitted slightly at the bust but ending just under, with loose skirts flowing from this. This gives a high-waist appearance that was iconic to the Regency era. Women started to resemble the statues and figures they saw in Greek and Roman art, with flowing, soft materials and an unrestricted body to move about freely. The hemlines were also heightened, revealing a little ankle for the first time. Hemlines were raised to several inches above the ankle, making movement a lot easier. The emphasis on movement made clothes more about practicality instead of class. For the first time, women could dress to suit their daily routine and lifestyle, and could do more things without the restrictions of dress. In the 1920s, there was a slight revival of this attitude, possibly suggesting the less strict values of the era. Like the Regency, corsets were once again abandoned and skirts were shortened. Overall, I think the Regency era is a very pivotal time in fashion history. I think the main cause of this would have to be the war with France. I also think that women were relieved by this change and fully embraced it, as it was less restricting and more practical. I was surprised that it didn't last long and corsets and hoop skirts started to come back into fashion after 1820. However, the Regency fashion didn't show much of a difference of class, and I think that is why it went out of fashion so quickly. Fashion always has a meaning, and in those days class and society was central to a woman's life, and I think they longed to show off extravagance again.